clearly the GPU, it's RTX 3080, it's capable of pushing those extra frames. We saw it do it. But that RAM bandwidth is limiting the CPU's ability to keep up by that much. And wow, it happened again. Holy banana. I really was not expecting this. I was expecting in a more GPU demanding game that the CPU bottleneck caused by this memory mismatch would have been less of an issue. Holy shit. This is mind-blowing. Whoa, hey, wait a minute. He's wearing different clothes. We just dropped 20% of our performance on the Intel system and just gained 20% performance on the AMD system.
Yeah, they just swapped.
As promised, ladies and gentlemen, almost exactly perfectly traded results just from swapping out the computer memory. You gotta remember, guys, these are completely different systems. Other than that, I can't even wrap my brain around this much of a performance difference from RAM. How did AMD allow this to represent AMD advantage in our initial look? All they had to do was upgrade the memory. And the craziest part is we didn't have to look far to find more examples that highlight this problem. Look at CSGO, for example. It's a huge performance lead for the Intel NVIDIA system until you upgrade the memory in the AMD system and all of a sudden, it's within spitting distance. Now, that's not to say that there weren't exceptions. Dirt 5, for example, very, very small performance differences going from one type of memory to another, and actually, performance went down a little bit with our by 8 memory modules. Now that's weird. It could be that this particular game is more sensitive to latency on our AMD system, but it could also be that it's a more modern game with more modern techniques for memory management. Throwing a wrench into that theory, though, is Forza Horizon 4. Also a newer game, but one that sees a huge difference changing out the memory. I mean, this is mind-blowing, right? The performance difference in some of these games is comparable to going from an RTX 3070 to an RTX 3080. Those two parts cost a difference of $300 on Alienware's M15R4. And for what? So that they could potentially save a few bucks? I mean, it's not like these manufacturers can't, get the good stuff on Newegg for about $45 a stick. So what exactly is going on here? Well, I'm gonna explain it to you like you're 5. Mostly because despite talking to the big A's, ASUS, AMD, and Anthony, nobody actually had a perfect explanation for why this matters so much. So here's our best shot at it. You can think of your system memory kind of like a big library where a whole bunch of ones and zeros are stored. Every time that memory is accessed, the memory controller built into your CPU needs to track down where that data is and either read or write it, kind of like a librarian. By increasing the density of the RAM to the point where you can get rid of half the chips on the module, you're basically laying off half of your librarians without reducing the number of books that they need to take care of. This means that in some cases, it can take longer for them to retrieve your data. This manifests as higher RAM subtimings and your computer becomes slower. Now, the existence of more affordable, slower RAM isn't a problem. I'm all for consumer choice. The problem is that there's basically no way of knowing what type of RAM you have without opening up your computer. Like, to be clear, I'm not that surprised that the ASUS Strix Advantage Edition has this budget RAM in it because it is a cheaper gaming laptop. It's currently $1,650 US, while the Aorus we compared it to goes for $2,400. And as an end user, I mean, you can substantially narrow the performance gap between these machines for at most $90, then flip your old memory on eBay, I guess. It's inconvenient, but you're still coming out ahead. The problem, though, is if companies start putting higher density X16 RAM into laptops that previously featured X8 sticks, because they almost certainly won't disclose this change in the specs, and it causes a massive performance drop that won't have been captured by reviews of those machines. I mean, imagine the commotion if NVIDIA randomly decided that all 3080 laptops now can just use a 3070 because it saves them $15. Of course, pointing out problems without presenting solutions, it's not very helpful. So here's what I think needs to happen. Going forward, I think laptops should have the density of their RAM right in the specs. Because, I mean, even from a manufacturer standpoint, after watching this video, it seems like really smart marketing. If you're shipping buy 8 SODIMMs, the high performance ones, put it on your product page so people know that it's a quality product. And for any manufacturers who don't display this information, going forward, we're gonna make sure to let you guys know the RAM density of every gaming laptop that enters our office. So manufacturers know that even if it's not in the specs, when we see by 16 RAM, you better make sure that it's in a budget system that's designed specifically to help our viewers store their extra cash towards an insulated water bottle from lttstore.com. By the way, I'm wearing the WAN Hoodie V2 right now. It's coming soon. Interestingly though, RAM density isn't the only controversial thing that's holding back the Strix Advantage Edition. It also suffers from having no graphic switching mux. And let me demonstrate why that matters. Inside this laptop are 2 GPUs. The integrated GPU that's built into the CPU that saves battery when you're browsing the internet, reading PDFs, and so on and so forth. And the real dedicated GPU that pushes them good FPSs for gaming and sucks back a bunch of power. Now this sharing of the work is great for the end user, but it does come at a cost. Most laptops are set up so that the dedicated GPU is actually routed through the integrated GPU before it displays on the built-in monitor. And there's a performance hit from adding this extra step. High-end laptops alleviate this problem with a MUX, or multiplexer. A MUX is basically an electronic switcher that allows you to input multiple signals, then choose which one you'd like to output at a given time. This allows a laptop to choose integrated or dedicated graphics cards without either of them routing through the other, meaning you don't have to deal with that performance hit. So why doesn't the Strix Advantage Edition have a MUX then? It's cost. The answer is always cost. Adding a MUX is expensive because it requires a motherboard redesign, it adds complexity, and it adds components. So ASUS and AMD clearly decided they would rather sacrifice a bit of performance in order to hit that $1,650 asking price. And I guess it is pretty sweet that if you hook it up to an external display, you can actually beat the performance of a $2,400 laptop. Look at that, 135 FPS average. But it also means that the AMD Advantage is more like an AMD compromise. And the specs of this machine end up being misleading in not one, but 2 major ways that together contribute a 25+% performance deficit in gaming, which is what it's marketed to be good at. Now hold on a second, Linus. You said this can affect desktops too. And that's true, it can. Whether you're buying a pre-built or whether you're picking out the parts and assembling your own machine, if you end up with by 16 memory modules, you could experience a performance difference just like we talked about today. One of the big differences though on a desktop is that A, it's a lot easier to visually inspect a module and see exactly what it is, and B, the specs that the manufacturers provide are way more detailed. If I were to go on the website of a reputable memory manufacturer like G.Skill or Corsair, I would be able to find all the information that I need to understand the trade-offs that I'm making. So I might say, okay, this is going to be a slightly slower memory kit, but I really need the extra capacity that I get with that additional density, so I'm going to pull the trigger on it. So really then, while it can happen on desktops, this is mostly yet another episode of buying gaming laptops is way more difficult than it should be, which is terribly annoying because it would be great if consumers could just look at the specs of a device and know how fast to expect it to be instead of the complete mess we have right now. Like if this keeps getting worse, I might have to just get a MacBook and be done with it, which, sorry, yeah, no, forget it. I mean, even if the performance is trash, I'm still gonna, I like gaming, so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. But I'm gonna be mad about it, and I'm gonna complain. Mine is the smart data assistant that helps you discover where your data is and helps you keep it where you want it.
All right, so we're building a computer today because building computers is fun and I enjoy it. And that's what we do on this channel, so I'm gonna keep doing it, damn it. I'm actually pretty excited for this build though. I feel like the last few systems I've put together have been Team Red, so it's nice to switch it up with some Team Blue in the house. We're actually using a Core i9-11900K on the Rocket Lake architecture. It's an 8-core, 16-thread CPU, boosts up to 5.3 gigahertz, which is pretty spanking fast. Can be overclocked beyond that, I suppose, if you have proper cooling in place and that sort of thing. We've also got 24 megabytes of smart cache on board. It supports PCIe Gen 4, Thunderbolt 4. It's got all the bells and whistles now, so that's pretty exciting. It's going in this really nice motherboard from Gigabyte, actually, Z590 Vision. Never worked with this board before. Kind of excited about this too. It's very like minimalistic and clean. It's got a 12-phase power design with Dr. Moss. Super high quality. You can just feel like the finish of this thing is just top notch all around, up and down. It's kind of more of a content creator focused board, but absolutely works for things like gaming, streaming, other things like that too. I guess streaming is technically considered content creation, but you know what I mean. Like the CPU, the motherboard also supports PCIe Gen 4 for modern GPUs and NVMe SSDs. It also supports Thunderbolt 4 and Vision, which allows you to change up to 10 Thunderbolt devices with a single cable. It's a pretty useful feature, pretty powerful, especially if you're going to utilize that many Thunderbolt devices. We've also got 16 gigs of DDR4 3733 memory here from Gigabyte Aorus. Yeah, 3733 CL18 memory. And this is their Aorus RGB memory. Like I said, we're only putting 16 gigs in here, but this board does support up to 128 gigs, which can definitely be useful if you're doing some heavy content creation, like video editing, for example. It also has a pretty nice thermal solution on board, both for the VRM as well as the M.2. These heatsinks look pretty cool. So I'm getting the call really quick. I think we're ready for our M.2 drive here. We've got an Aorus 7000S, 1 terabyte NVMe PCIe Gen 4 NVMe M.2 drive. It's got a read and write speed of roughly 7,000 gigabytes a second, which is pretty impressive. It also has this really nice heatsink on it that we have to remove because there won't be any room for it once it's under this shield that's on top of the motherboard. Such a shame. Beautiful heatsink. It's also using 3D TLC NAND. If your SSD is ever in a bad mood, just get a little TLC.
Shine with me. How proud you are for a bit. Like an ape who just found a steal. Burn away the shadows.
Okay, we're gonna do the top slot here. So we peel this off. This thermal pad tape covers it. I wonder why this tape looks different than these two pieces of tape. Oh well, the heatsink should pop off now. Oh, there we go. Got it. All right. So we want the NAND and controller face up. That's what's gonna make contact with our thermal pad once this plates on. And do I even need to screw it down? I think think it'll just be fine. It'll just naturally press up against the pad. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go, and screw her down. Next up, we're installing our cooler. We've got an AIO here from Gigabyte as well. This is their Aorus Water Force 360, so it's got a 360 millimeter radiator. Look at all that.
If you hate magic, you're already blind.
An enemy has been slain.
If you can smile, you can see the light. Twirl my wand. Stay positive.
An ally has been slain.
Them fins. Not only is the radiator huge, but the tubing. The tubing is thick with double C's because it's 33% thicker, I believe, in diameter than most tubes on a standard AIO.
Home is where the spark is.
You have slain an enemy.
Dare you?
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Take courage in the light. Shine bright. Blinding light. Everywhere I go, the light follows.
Shut down.
The world has seen enough darkness. The best thing about
An enemy has been slain.
take pride in how you
You have slain an enemy.
The light will guide you, even now. about light is, it never really dies. Ooh, I've never been here before.
Slain an enemy.
Would it help if I apologize? Banish the shadows! Illuminate the enemy! Hope you like rainbows!
An enemy has been slain.
Great ones!
An enemy has been slain.
Shine bright! For justice and all things right! I want to see everything! Banish the shadows! We're in this together! Keep believing. To die. The superior tactic is to never give up. Focus. Pushing my limits.
An enemy has been slain. Turret plate will fall soon.
If
An
you can
enemy
find
has been slain.
the light,
An ally has been slain.
take pride in how sweetly you
Killing spree.
mortality is truly.
Shut down.
Something new. Stay positive. Who are you again? Into battle with heart and
Your team has destroyed a turret.
home is where the spark is.
slain.
Drive. Everywhere I go, the light follows.
Your turret has been destroyed. An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
We can do this.
An enemy has been slain.
Lighting the way. I've never been here before.
Pain must be felt. Never peace. Focus.
We all shine.
Has been slain.
Take
Pride in how swift.
Great ones.
Heads up.
has been destroyed. Rampage.
Pain must be felt.
Keep believing.
The earth reflects your torment.
Superior tactics. Don't give up. You got my back.
Never falter.
Shielded from yourself.
Your team has destroyed the turret.
Stay there.
Double kill.
The light will guide you, even now. Stay positive. Into battle with hearts aglow.
Never falter.
Killing spree. Double kill.
Guys. Home is where the spark is.
Enemy double kill.
The light will guide you, even now. Everywhere I go, the light follows. help if I apologize? If you can smile, you can see the light.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Never falter.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Focus.
Stay positive.
An ally has been slain.
Into battle with hearts aglow. Is where the spark is.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. Ally has been slain. Ally has been slain. Double kill. Ace. Victory!
We've also got this rotatable LCD screen. It does go 360 or 330 degrees around. So pretty much you can still orient it any direction you like. It's big.
Wow, look at you, Brad. Big.
Intimidating, I'm scared, a little nervous. We've got mounting hardware over here, and I have to remember this is Intel. We need an Intel mounting bracket. Voila. Looks like it's already in the LGA 1200 positioning. So I'm just gonna slide it from behind here. Woohoo! And it should go in, there we go. Like a glove. And then we also have our standoffs. Are these called standoffs? I mean, we can call these standoffs, right? They're kind of like standoffs. Mounting screws, we'll just call them mounting screws, whatever. And it looks like this is gonna be a pretty easy cooler to install. Very familiar mounting method, nothing fancy, thank God. So the thermal paste is for this cooler, comes in a tube, a little plunger here. It's not pre-applied, which I actually kind of like. I would prefer to apply it myself. I don't know, it's part of the fun. And I trust myself more than a factory to put thermal paste on correctly. Was this really necessary to put plastic wrap over the thermal paste? Like, come on. Okay. Woo-hoo. That ought to do. Not too shabby there. I'm gonna put our retention bracket right here. Beautiful. Don't forget to remove this guy before installation. I don't think I've ever forgotten to remove that thing. I know some people who have, but I don't think I've ever made that mistake. I've gotten close before. It's never actually happened. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. So how do I want this oriented in our case? I'm thinking something like that. 'Cause I think I want radiator on the top of the case, since there's already 3 fans at the front. I'll show you guys the case in just a second here, but I think I'm feeling this definitely tubes on the, well, we can figure that out later, but tubes on the right side, I think. It's usually how I prefer to have my coolers mounted. This is just a chill, peaceful build video.
What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
Just a man and his parts. Computer parts. Now I think we're already ready for case install, or motherboard installation into the case. So, oh, you know what? Before I do that, let me go ahead and mount the fans to the radiator. Where are my radiator screws at? Did it not include radiator? Oh, there we go. Whew. Give me a scare there for a second. No, it didn't. I have like a million of these. Would have been fine. The fans that come included with this AIO are RGB, and they actually have 3 cables coming off of each fan. But you've got a 4-pin PWM fan connector, as well as 2 RGB connectors. So one's a female, one's a male, but they are 3-pin 5-volt connectors. So you can daisy chain them together, which actually cleans up the cable management quite a bit. And it looks like our motherboard does have a 3-pin 5-volt header, so we'll be able to connect these fans straight to the board and control the RGB software. Control the RGB from the Gigabyte software itself. So as you can see, I'm mounting all these fans so that the cables coming out of the fans are all facing the same direction. I'm hoping that this is the right way. I kind of, pictured it in my head where the radiator, how it was going to get mounted, and I think I'm doing it the right way, but there's always a high chance that I'm doing something wrong. You guys been watching the channel for any length of time. All right, our motherboard assembly is finally ready to go into the case. The case that we're using is, drum roll please, the Corsair IQ 5000X RGB. Look at it, she's beautiful. This is my first time building in this case, but looks promising so far. I like how easy the panels come off. I've already removed all of them, that was the last one. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and mount the motherboard in here. I already have pre-installed motherboard standoffs. Thank you, Corsair. So let's just ease her in here, nice and slow. Aha! Really love that middle standoff there. That helps. It's very helpful. And did I mount this correctly? Aha! Yes, it looks like I did mount the fans correctly after all, because the cables are not visible. They're on the back side. We want to mount it like this because that looks good. Makes the most sense. All right, we're good. And like I said, we already have 3 included fans at the front of the case. These are 120s. Corsair, and let's mount the motherboard down to the case now. As you can see, we're going with kind of a color neutral build here, using a lot of black, a lot of white, and if I'm looking at the rest of our components that we're using, yeah, it's pretty much gonna remain this color scheme by the end of the build. Kind of similar to the one that we just built at Micro Center, which was mostly white though. I feel like this one is a bit more two-tone than that one even. It'll look nice, trust me. All right, motherboard's in there, and a radiator. Now that I'm looking at this a bit closer, I think before I actually mount this radiator, what I want to do is install or plug in my 8-pin EPS connector or cable for the CPU. Because look, it's actually being blocked by this little plastic cover. That connector is going to be almost impossible to get to. So let me get out PSU cable, got the cable, and I don't think this piece is actually removable. Oh, well, maybe it is. It is. Okay, never mind. Good job, Gigabyte. You thought that one through. Well done. Okay, well, I'm still gonna plug it in now anyway, since I've already got the cable here. It'll still be easier if we do it now. By a lot. Oh, we can't forget about these cables that are coming off of the AIO tubes, where the tubes meet the radiator. We've got a 3-fan splitter. It's nice that they include that, and a 3-pin 5-volt connection for RGB. Ooh, that barely clears, but you know what? Barely is good enough. Oh, this build's gonna be really pretty. I can already tell. All right, be honest. How many of you actually use all the screws and washers for your AIO radiator install? Because lately, actually for a while now, I've only been using 4, 1 on each outside corner. I don't use the other ones in between. You're supposed to use 12 here, because you know what? Ain't nobody got time for that, and it doesn't really make much of a difference. Someone's gonna be like, noise and vibration though. It's supposed to help reduce noise and vibration. I've never, ever had a problem with noise and vibration with only using 4 screws. Ever. Before that, this video is brought to you by cdkoffers.com, a cool website I found for all of your game keys and software key needs. You can find keys for really cheap and they're reliable. And I just so happen to really need a Windows 10 Pro key for a system that I just built. Let me punch in my payment information really quick. Buy now. All right, here's my key. And the system's already activated, but we can just change the product key to the one we just bought. And if all goes smoothly, activate. It works! Yay! So super legit. Go ahead and follow the link in the description below, guys, and be sure to use the code BW20 for 20% off any of the keys or orders that you make at
Tomorrow
cdkoffers.com.
is a twinkle,
Look
but
at
today
that.
is a
That's
shining
pretty.
promise.
And now, power supply? Front panel connectors, and then power supply. All right, I just fished all the front panel connector cables through the appropriate grommets and cutouts, and now I'm ready to plug them all in. So we're just gonna do that all at once here. Starting with USB 3.0. Wait, that's not USB 3. Oh, USB 3's over here.
30
Dang it.
seconds until minions
Let's reroute
spawn.
that. Let's do that one last. So in the meantime, I can still do USB 2.0. This is actually for our AIO. And then we also have our teeny tiny front panel connectors, power, reset, hard drive LED, sort of thing. Yeah, I was trying to plug the USB 3 cable into the front panel header. Silly me. It looks different when it's upside down, okay? Actually, it's exactly the same. All right, see you on the other side, USB 3. Get out of here. USB 3.1.
Minions have spawned.
There you go. And USB 3, here we go. Second attempt, nailed it. Beautiful. Okay, front panel connectors are pretty much installed. Plugged in, ready to go. Power supply is next. All right, I already got my PSU cables plugged into the unit
Determination
itself.
will see
I
us
just went ahead and
through.
did that really quick off camera. Is this going to fit? Oh boy, I don't think this is gonna fit, guys. I think I actually...
Don't let my sunny disposition fool you. Where there is shadow, I will bring light. Light trap. Bright enough for you? A candle in the dark, a beacon to the world. Failure is not an option. Fight the good fight. Odds be damned. Light is just one of many paths. Never give up. I will be a luminous force in the world. Knowledge illuminates the true path. I always travel light. Brilliance is a beacon.
Double kill.
Gold becomes goods. Basic economic alchemy.
An enemy has been slain.
The elements are all at my disposal.
I need to remove the hard drive cage. There's a hard drive cage with two trays for 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch drives, it looks like. And
Anything is possible. Without light, the people lose heart. You'll let darkness take hold. Light is but one of my weapons. The path is lit. I must choose my destiny.
Killing spree. An enemy has been slain.
The brightest light starts as just a spark. I'll lead the way to victory. Do not fret. I will return soon. Hope banishes fear, as sure as the sun does darkness.
Rampage.
The strongest light is the one within. The time for talk is over. A beacon in battle.
An ally has been slain.
Banish the shadows. Determination will see us through. Bedazzled! Don't let my sunny disposition fool you. Shine! Where there is shadow, I will bring light. Light trap! A candle in the dark, a beacon to the world. Failure is not an option. Natural selection at work. Learn to bend and not break.
Listen to the hum of the land. Living life to the fullest. Respect nature and prosper. Creation meanders, and so must I. How can I help? Root them out. Wilt away to flower elsewhere. The one element I was lacking. Nature advances, so must I. Let's find where flowers bloom. Good place to plant a ward. The seeds of counsel bear to the tree. Life finds a way. This goes out of control.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Nurture that which nurtures us.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
We are all roots of a single tree.
You have slain an enemy.
Life flourishes all around, and you
Rampage.
insist on dying? Tear them out by the roots.
An enemy has been slain. Double kill. An ally has been slain. Your team has destroyed a turret.
Go back to my roots. It's important to stay grounded. Gold becomes good. Basic economic alchemy. Never underestimate the power of nature. Who else requires my attention? Learn to bend and not break.
You have slain an enemy. An enemy has been slain. Unstoppable. Listen to the calm of the land.
Living life to the fullest.
Your team